560 The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in framing this morning, Charles Thomas, former ABC7 political reporter.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Charles, did you catch the Rockin' New Year's Eve on CNN?
No,
Yeah.
didn't make that one.
No, I don't think many people did. I didn't, but I did see enough clips of comedian Whitney Cummings online to be pleasantly surprised that she was included. You know, Whitney Cummings, I mean, there's the sitcom that was supposed to be her star turn was really lame, and, you know, she's a female stand-up comedian, so how funny can she be? You can email me directly for all the people that are outraged by my misogyny when it comes to women in comedy. But on New Year's Eve on CNN, she was actually quite sharp, and she made Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper. Aren't they cute?
They are cute, aren't they?
They're darling. It made those two blanch quite a number of times. For example, Whitney Cummings on What We All Know to Be True from 2024.
The point is, I think we all agree on a lot of things. And since I only have a minute left live on establishment media, why don't we just say a bunch of things that we know that they'll never cover? Okay, ready, go. Trump Jr. didn't have any silverware in his house. No one thought that was weird? Are we still rolling? Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia put money into Disney, so just know there won't be any girl characters in the next Cars movie. Are we still rolling? This is wild. Why have so many presidents' chefs died? Weird. Boy Scout of America, they renamed itself Scouting America. You know who else changed their name? Sean Combs. Just saying. Let's learn something in 2025. I can't believe you guys are still letting me go. This is amazing. I love CNN. Please stop me, Andy, because I will just keep going.
Happy New Year, Whitney Cummings.
Am I still streaming?
Yes.
This is amazing.
Boy Scouts of America and P. Diddy. Boy, I wasn't going to make that connection. Very good.
Man, that guy Andy, what's his, not
Andy Cohen.
Oh man, does he?
He is quite flamboyant.
I can't handle him. Man.
Yeah.
I can't handle him. He does those housewife shows, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's a homeboy. He's from St. Louis, man. Well, like
Is
me.
he?
Yeah,
What,
I
two
grew up
peas in a
there.
pod.
Yeah, but this guy, he's an embarrassment, man.
I remember him, Millionaire Matchmaker. He used to do, like, interview Patty Stanger for Millionaire Matchmaker. That was one of my guilty pleasures back in the day when that was popular.
Yeah, when you were popular.
Yeah, right. So more Whitney Cummings, something actually entertaining. So what we all know, we all agree on a lot of things. Whitney Cummings sounds like she got red-pilled sometime either before or after she became a mom.
Let me be clear, though. 2024 was not only negative. The media wants us to believe this country is so divided, but we actually came together a lot this year. Like, as a nation, we unanimously agreed that we would rather see J-Lo in a toxic relationship than in concert. We all agree the government totally knows what drones are and are telling us. The drones are still up there, and we have no idea what's behind them. No idea. I mean, they're still up in the sky, so I guess we can rule out that they were made by Boeing. The point is, I think we all agree on a lot of things.
Andy Cohen was confused by the Boeing jab, but that was pretty good. It was very topical. And finally, on the 2024 election, her best work.
2024 election fried our brains. The Democrats couldn't hold a primary because they were too busy holding a body upright. Are we still rolling? Am I off?
Go for it.
It was amazing that the pro-choice party didn't give their voters one when it came to the presidential candidate. Kamala was forced on us so hard you'd think she was patented by Pfizer or Moderna, whichever one's. Oh, God. Andy just gave me a very scary look.
No!
Oh, I can't do
love going
that.
around the country because you see that Americans really are more reasonable than they would be portrayed.
Absolutely,
They're pretty great, and I'm
100%
playing bigger and bigger venues now. I thought being a mom would mean that less people would want to come see me. I'm now playing, like 3,000 seat theaters,
awesome.
which is about the viewership of CNN these days.
Well,
Not
nice.
this show, though.
Nice.
All eyes are on this show.
Wow, you're all firing.
Andy and I had a tour. We did like
I
3,000
remember.
people. Yes.
Yeah, boy, the Andy and Anderson Cooper tour. Who
Yeah, I
wants
mean,
to
I
get
think
tickets
that's
for that?
her last go round at CNN, rocking New Year's Eve.
Yeah, just nice to see Whitney Cummings' evolution a little bit. For more on that and other matters cinematic. We're pleased to be joined by Christian Toto, host of the Hollywood in Toto podcast. That's Hollywood in Toto, TOTO.com. Christian, thanks for joining us again. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah, boy, a few clips really captured 2024. I mean, the fact that it came at the very end of the year was maybe even more special, but boy, you could write a thesis on everything that she said and the revelations and her reaction and the fact that all that is true, and that's the funniest part of all.
Yeah, she's been gearing up while she's been maybe flying under the radar a little bit, playing smaller venues, as she mentioned. Her work product has improved greatly from what I remember from sitcom Whitney Cummings.
Yeah, and her reaction was so interesting. She was so fearful that they would cut her mic, that they would somehow switch to any other topic. I mean, that's where we've been for 4, 5, 6, 7 years, where you couldn't even tell satirical jokes on TV. You couldn't share a glimmer of the truth. And, for those CNN viewers, that might be the first time they've heard those thoughts. And that's the scariest part.
Yeah, right. Well, making comedy great again, right? That's the first thing we've talked about this before, where and some who have been courageous enough to speak out in the entertainment world have said as much, where you have this totalitarian culture. It's it's as much as Dalton Trumbo experienced back in the blacklisting days.
Is CNN trying to rehabilitate itself? I mean, I've seen some of the panel discussions involving this guy Jennings. Is it Scott
Jennings?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they let him say stuff now that's right on point. But
I don't know. Every time I think that the media is trying to course correct, I get dozens and dozens of examples where they're clearly not trying to course correct. So I think there's maybe a part of their journalistic souls that realize how badly they performed, but I don't think they were committed to the task of actually delivering hard news. And just an example from my website, Hollywood and Toto, I wrote about how the media basically ignored all those truth bombs that Whitney Cummings dropped. A couple different outlets covered parts of it, but they really avoided the zingers. They actively said, we're not going to cover this. And that's what the media's been doing for years now. And so you have to go to radio shows and podcasts and new media outlets and YouTube to find the real truth. You're not going to find it on CNN.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's tokenism too. I think it's like we need to show that we have a sense of humor, so somebody can come on and lampoon us. We need to show that we are open to hearing from all sides. So we'll put Scott Jennings or another pundit or two on that have center right views. But I mean, they're not committed to like robust debate and, as you say, real journalism and stuff. They are still a house organ for the Beltway establishment, particularly the left.
Well, I mean, here's your perfect example. We've learned beyond any shadow of a doubt that President Biden was extremely compromised for the last 4 years. So where are the questions from journalists to Karine Jean-Pierre or anyone in that White House inner circle? Where is the journalism that's following up on the story that they missed for 4 years? You're not going to see it. It's like you mentioned, it's tokenism at its worst.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the year in movies in 2024. I know you wrote about it at your blog, HollywoodandToto.com, your website, and give us a gem or two that maybe we may have missed.
Well, it just came out a few weeks ago. A Complete Unknown is the new Bob Dylan biopic, and I have to say I'm bored of these musical extravaganzas. You get it's the first time the singer hears his or her song on the radio, and there's this, they're so cliched. I mean, they made a movie about it, Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Dewey Cox, that's awesome.
I mean, that maybe should have ended the whole genre right then and there. But this is terrific. And what I'd say, I'm not a huge Dylan fan, I have to say. I mean, I admire him, I respect him, I get why he's so consequential, but he is inscrutable to this day. And I think that's what the film leans into in a way. It's just an artist seeking to tell his story, seeking to sing his songs at a really important time in the culture, and it all just connected. And Timothée Chalamet just is sensational in lead role, so I recommend that one first and foremost.
And Timothée Chalamet is just so pretty, to look at. You know?
You know what they did, though? I mean, they basically recreated the Dylan look, the Dylan album covers, all the snapshots you've seen over the decades of what he looked like. And he's not a dead ringer for Dylan, but boy, the production design, the makeup, the hair, it captures everything just right. And of course, the movie itself is quite good as well.
Better or worse than Kate Blanchett as Bob Dylan?
I never saw that particular project, so I can't compare them. But
fair enough.
It seems like an unfair fight.
All right, what else? What else we got?
I know it's behind a paywall now, and I know it was in theaters for a while, but Am I Racist really was an excellent documentary. That's from the Daily Wire. It really did expose the people who have been pushing DEI. And, I think the best documentaries do intersect with the culture. And what we've seen over the last few weeks and months is DEI programs in a hasty retreat. And, is it cause and effect? Maybe it's just part of the zeitgeist that was, going on without the movie, but the movie itself was very, very funny, so I have to kind of give a lot of credit to that. And I'm not a movie musical person, but I thought Wicked was excellent. I just thought it everything
Really?
You want in a movie of its kind. Just great vocal performances from the leads. It was funny. It had some nuance to it. It had some depth to the story. Obviously, the source material is quite good. We've all been enjoying that for years now, off and on Broadway. So I can't complain about Wicked. I think it's terrific. I think the Wicked press tour has been cringe on steroids, and I think we've seen that on social media. But you got to separate that from the real thing, the movie.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough after watching some clips of Ariana Grande and the what's her name? I'm blanking on the other actress's name, but pawing each other and breaking out into tears, and I mean it's just so absurd. But okay.
It is, and by the way, just a note to the media: never pair actors together if you want to interview them. They bond, they're silly, they kind of get quippy. It's not a good idea. So I think you should interview actors solo. I think you get much more out of them and much less ridiculous experiences like we saw on social.
That's actually a good point. I think you get that like with anybody in the sort of entertainment or quasi-entertainment business, with politicians like Walz and Kamala, with but really with athletes, with actors or performers. It just becomes like one mash note to the other between the two of it. That's such a great insight. I never thought about it, but you're right. It's got to go solo.
And I don't blame the actors. They're just They're just there to answer some questions and kill the time. They're there to make movies, and this is just a weird side project that they have to do to promote. I mean, they have to be marketers as well. But when they're together, they're just going to be chummy, and that just yields nothing good.
Well, one film you wrote about that I missed and I want to check out now is The Brutalist. Tell me about that. Oh, did we lose?
By Adrian Brody.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Adrian Brody plays That's okay. Adrian Brody plays an architect. He's Jewish in the mid-1940s. He escapes the Holocaust, comes to America, starts his career. It is 3.5 hours long. There is an intermission. It feels like an epic like they used to make. And I understand the budget wasn't really huge, which I think is very impressive, but it's just a sprawling saga. The performances are excellent. Adrian Brody has won an Oscar. He might just win another one. He's spectacular in this role. He just has a lot to say about capitalism and entrepreneurism and just searching and yearning and going through lots of emotional crises. It's just a beautiful, well-constructed film. Again, it's a beast. Hit the loo before you check out The Brutalist and maybe just be aware of that. But I just found it old-fashioned in the best sense of the word.
Oh, interesting. I mean, Adrian Brody, I know he's a good actor, the pianist, right? He won the Oscar for it. But boy, it's been, I can't think, maybe like Grand Budapest Hotel. I can't think of an Adrian Brody movie that was particularly good for a long time.
A lot of genre films, a lot of films that go, I guess straight to video is the old term, maybe straight to VOD now. But yeah, his career has been up and down, but all you need is one big film or one well-regarded film and you're back on top. I think that's going to do it for him, and good for him because it's just a tremendous performance. It's so fascinating. It's visually beautiful, and there's a lot to savor about the movie.
All right, more Adrian Brody, more Whitney Cummings in 2025, hopefully. Christian Toto, host of the Hollywood in Toto podcast. Pick it up at Hollywood in Toto, Toto, HollywoodInToto.com. Christian, thank you as always. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And he joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook. or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement